What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Spade here, and welcome to Bravely Default Talk. Yeah, I do way too many talk videos. Anyway, in other words, you could say I'm pretty much planning on giving my final thoughts and pretty much my final thoughts on Bravely Default through a number of videos, so basically through a bunch of videos. Today we are going to be talking about the prologue, or in other words, the intro, and pretty much how this works is I'm pretty much dividing these videos between chapters, and this is pretty much chapter 1. In other words, it's chapter 0. Yeah, I have no idea how many chapters there are to this game, but as far as I think, how many there are 5. 6 counting the intro, which we're doing now. And I actually am at chapter 5 now. Oh my god, is all I have to say. Anyway, this pretty much Bravely Default. I am playing through this game blind, so in other words, it's all my first experience. And anyway, let's just get started. I believe I ended up getting this game probably when I was in grade 11, I think. And I'm graduated now, so yeah. I believe I ended up getting this game on a weekday. So in other words, I was playing through this game during a school week. And when there was school, you don't really have much free time. And overall, I believe I ended up playing this game for like 4 days. For pretty much like 4 days. And then I stopped playing, period. When I was stuck in chapter 1, I believe. In pretty much Yoyana Woods, I think that's how you say it. Somewhere around there, to where you go to the cave and you end up having to slay a dragon. I was stuck at trying to kill it. And that's where I left off. 2 weeks back. So in other words, it is now 2015, the 18th of November. I have coffee with me, so just ignore that. Anyway, I started playing this game again around, I say probably October 20th, somewhere in late October. So I've been playing this game for practically a month now, almost. And oh my god, it is too good! Just like I remembered it when I first picked it up. And anyway, that brings us up to speed. And now we actually get to talk about the intro. And again, I don't really remember much, so I am watching a Let's Play of Bravely Default while I'm playing through the game. But again, I'm way ahead of the Let's Play. Way ahead. So I'm not spoiling nothing. It's like I'm refreshing my mind. And you might already know I'm watching a Let's Play of the game because of my like box. Anyway, pretty much this game starts you off with a fairy, or in other words, pixie, known as Airy. And this has a 3D type cutscene introducing you to the game and telling you a little bit about each party member you end up getting. Airy isn't a party member, but just a assist. In other words, I guess you could say Airy is somewhat like Teddy in Persona 4, to where she's just there and just helps you along the way somewhat, I guess, and gives you some advice. But yeah, Airy is definitely an interesting character, which we'll get into more in a different video. I plan on doing character analysis for some characters in this game. I might do it for every character, I might not. Who knows? But Airy is the first character you end up seeing in the cutscene. Then you end up coming across Agnes Obleeds. I think that's how you say her last name. Anyway, Agnes is known as the Vestal of Wind. The full... Way to screw it up. Anyway, there are 4 Vestals. The Vestal of Wind, Fire, Earth, and Water in this game. And the Vestal's job is pretty much to protect a certain elemental crystal. And I'm not going to go into further detail because I know they'll go into a big rant. But just to sum it up, Agnes is the Earth, not the Earth, Wind Vestal. Is a Wind Vestal who pretty much gets, pretty much her temple, her crystal is under attack and is covered in darkness. And we'll get more into that in this video, but we're gonna move on from Agnes' introduction and go into, I believe, Ring a Bell, who is next in the cutscene. And I need another drink. Ring a Bell, the typical pervert and ladies' man, or want to be ladies' man, in the game. Oh my god, I can't wait to do a Ring a Bell killer analysis. Oh my god. Ring a Bell is something. But pretty much Ring a Bell shows up in the town known as Caldisula. I think I say that right. Which is a town to where one of our other party members ends up going to in a little bit. But yeah, he ends up going to a tavern from the looks of it, Ring a Bell does. And then there's this group of 3 girls pretty much gawking over him, in love with him, and like Ringabel's narrating to himself, wondering where his true love is, something like that. And pretty much does the point and gambit, I believe, to the table with the 3 girls, saying, I wonder where she'll be. And pretty much the girls are dying with anticipation, thinking one of them is the one he's talking about. Anyway, on to the next one, which I believe in this cutscene is Adia. And now, Adia is definitely something. I'm not going to go too much into detail, but we end up seeing Adia fighting who she calls Master, who is in other words, is known as the Sword Master, who we'll talk more about in Chapter 3. But we end up seeing them training, pretty much. The Sword Master gives Adia his best blade, and we see Adia go off in an airship in a snowstorm. And let me take a drink again, and we'll talk about the final part of the cutscene. Which would be a boy, a shepherd, a freelancer named Tiz Alma. And oh my god, Tiz, what a bad way to go out for the game. Oh my god. Pretty much Tiz ends up talking to himself, introducing himself to the player in his home village known as Norende, which a few seconds later into the cutscene ends up getting swallowed whole by a massive light chasm. Pretty much a giant chasm opens up and swallows Norende and Tiz's younger brother, who ends up being killed along with Tiz's mother, father, brother, and all his friends. He is the only survivor of the Norende tragedy. What a shame. It'll just be as if you guys watched the cutscene than me explaining it. But that's pretty much the cutscene. Then the prologue begins. The intro. I can't remember what it's called, but that doesn't really matter. But anyway, we end up seeing Tiz in a bed of an inn in the town of Kadisla, which is where Ringabel is. To make a long story short, Tiz ends up visiting the king of Kadisla, has a little chat, and I need another drink, damn it. Tiz ends up having a chat with the king, asking permission to go check out Norende they where it once was. He ends up getting permission to go. You travel through a cave, and you pretty much have to fight the enemies out there to obviously level up and gain job points, gain peg, which is money in this game. I believe I leveled up to level 5, somewhere around there before I progressed the story, which is where we go see the cavern to see if there are any survivors. And Tiz ends up meeting a ghoul known as Agnes. He ends up seeing Agnes. Agnes is being hunted down by the Caldisla Sky Knights. I think that's how you say it. So Tiz grabs her hand and we're off to get out of the cave and try to survive from being attacked by cannon fire, along with a bunch of Caldisla Sky Knights. Thugs, grunts, basically. And oh my god. Sorry for that. Anyway, pretty much it's a airship that's after and hunting down Agnes. And the one guy who's driving it is known as, anyway, I don't know how to say his name because I can't remember how, but it'll be on screen. And he is known as a monk, which for the longest time I thought the monk class was known as fighter. I thought it was a fighter class. But apparently it's a monk class. And oh my god, it is good. Anyway, he's pretty much all brawn. He's pretty much all brawn and muscle and no brains, pretty much. Then you have the ghoul, practically the captain of the airship, known as Holly White. A white mage, or whatever it is. Pretty much she uses white magic. Anyway, we end up returning to Caldisla, talking to the king, and we rest at the inn, I believe is what happens next. And then at the pitch dark of night, that town is under attack by a dark wizard, a black wizard, or whatever it's called, a dark mage, who can wield fire, ice, and thunder or lightning, whatever it's called. I always get the two mixed up, and frankly, I don't care. Yeah, this guy ends up burning a building down to the ground, asking and demanding the town to hand over the wind vessel Agnes. And he is another member of the Antonian Sky Knights. And oh my god, I need another drink. And then we end up seeing while this guy's burning down houses, we end up seeing this girl who pretty much back talks to him. And it is none other than Adia, who wants him to stop. And in other words, I believe we end up going to a pond to fight Holly White and the monk in a boss battle. The first boss battle in the game. I believe you could have went after the Black Maids, but I believe I ended up going with the other one. Again, my memory's not the best because it's been a while, but anyway, I think I ended up leveling up Agnes to like level 7, 5 maybe, and Tiz was maybe level 7 when I fought Holly White and the monk. They were interesting. Oh, I absolutely love the monk's personality. Same with Holly White. And just to make a long story short again, we end up beating them. We take command of their airship at some point. Again, my memory's not the best, but I'm trying to explain it in order. Anyway, we also end up taking down the Black Maids, who practically burns 2 of his allies alive. And then Adia loses her cool and completely backstabs the Antonian Sky, her father, her master, everyone. Even a man known as Alternus Dim, who we'll talk a little more about in chapter 2 or 1, I believe. But, yeah. Adia joins the party along with Ringabel. I believe Ringabel ends up joining the party before we get Adia, I believe. And then, pretty much, Galdisla's under attack. Again. And I believe while we're fighting, after we fight the Black Maids, we end up seeing a cutscene of Keldisla being under attack, along with a man known as Owen, the innkeeper's son, who is a knight, second in command, pretty much, commander of the Condisula army, ends up fighting another knight. In other words, the final boss of the intro. And he is another member of the Aldisula Sky Knights. I'm starting to forget how to say that. Oh my god. In any case, Owen ends up getting slain along with some of the knights of Caldisla's army, and the king gets taken captive. And then all that's left to do is save the king. We end up getting to the top of the Caldisla's of the Sky Knights, let's just call it that for now. We end up going to the Sky Knights base, to the top, to take down the guy who slain Owen. Now I think I was like probably level 10 on the entire party by then. I ended up actually getting my first game over trying to beat the knight. And oh my god. I think I was playing on normal then. I think. I might have raised the difficulty down way before then. But this game, like literally, it's one of those games to where I have to play it on easy. When I play a game for the first time, I always go for normal. But there are some games where you just have to play on easy if you want to enjoy the story and not get bopped every 5 seconds. In any case, I believe I was like level 12 or 13 when I tried taking on the knight for round 2, and we ended up beating it. And I need another drink. And pretty much we end up saving the king. And now I remember. That's when you take control of the airship, because the fight with the knight is on the airship. That's at base, so we end up flying in the airship. The airship starts to come crashing down, and Megabell saves the day on landing the airship in the pond, lake, whatever you want to call it. And pretty much Agnes just refuses to allow Tiz, Adia, and Mirabelle to join her on her journey to purify all 4 elemental crystals. And I believe we end up somehow convincing her to let us help her. And then we travel to the east and end up going to a city called Ensign. And when you land in the Lake des Ocean with the dock by it, that's when Chapter 1 begins. I believe that's when Chapter 1 begins. And let's just say Ensign was more irritating than anything else, simply because of some of the people running it, which we'll talk about a bit more in Chapter 1's video. And oh my god. Like, the fact that Chapter 1 is mainly in a desert, it was definitely interesting. I believe by the time I ended up getting on land to head towards Ensign, which is pretty much the area where Agnes was pretty much raised and born, and where the wind vessels, and pretty much where the wind temple is, Agnes' home, which we'll talk again more about in the next video. Oh my god, it was definitely something though, but anyway, it's time we wrap up this and say, as for the intro, it was really good. At first, when I first saw the artwork for this game and the outside world for it, and just how the city's artwork and everything was, I definitely will say I was not a fan. I actually kind of hated it. But later on, as I kept playing, the artwork grew on me. I absolutely love the artwork in this game. And the music is so hype, it's so good. Everything about it is too good. And the battling system was a bit iffy, but now that I understand it a lot more, let's just say I like it a lot more. Because you're not mashing the A button 100 times to select a attack or defend or whatever. Oh, I love this game so much. And yet I'm not even done with it. Just wait till we get to chapter 3. The hype was unfit. My hype was unfit for it. It was through the roof. Anyway, for a starting point for the game, I absolutely love it. Everything about it. Definitely. If I had to say a favorite part for the intro of this game, it would definitely be, and I need a drink before we continue. It would definitely be Holly White and all muscles. The monk. Oh my god. The fact that they were the first two bosses you fight at the same time, and the first true villains you see in the game, oh my god, I love them. I love the monk's attitude. Oh my god. Muscle against muscle, brawn against brawn. There are only two ways to fight. Frontal assault and death by frontal assault. Oh my god, I absolutely love him. Definitely one of my more favorite killers in the game. Anyway, we're done. That's my thoughts and first experience on the intro of this game. Thank you all for listening. Hope you all enjoyed. And I hope to see you guys in chapter 1. That should be an interesting one.